Okay. Oh, it is live. That was just... Okay. All right, cool. Oh, it is live. That was just... Strange. All right, I guess it's live. It actually, as soon as I started it, it said stream ending, and then that's where it went. It actually, as soon as I started it, it said stream ending, and then... All right, now I think I'm live. This is weird. This has been a day of technical difficulties, and one of them is the camera's crooked. There. That was bothering me. All right, now I'm ready for the live stream. By the way, yes, I am wearing a Craft Computing shirt, so go check out my friend Craft Computing. He is now full-time at the YouTube, so probably if you've watched my channel, you've probably seen his. So definitely go out there, check it out. So I'm going to be on his channel soon. I have been bad because he scheduled me, and I said I was going to schedule him, and I just haven't yet. So the plan is me and him are going to do some videos together and talk about some things. So definitely on the to-do list soon. Let's see. Let's scroll up here. All the same color jelly beans. Yes. Jelly beans, jelly beans. Apparently, one of you, as I don't have hot sauce today, or hot jelly beans. Hot jelly beans for last week. But I do have two, not one, but two bags of black jelly beans. Now, because I was talking about black jelly beans and my love for them, and you didn't need to get two bags because, trust me, no one wanted to share with me. I was the only one eating these, apparently, but someone anonymously sent me 2 bags of black jelly beans through Amazon. Thank you very much for that. It is appreciated. I have been consuming them at a rate I should not eat that much sugar. But anyways, hey from Holland. Holland, speaking of black jelly beans, you guys have the best, at least what I've tasted here in the States, great candy. The candy, there's a... one side of our state, when I was on vacation, offers allegedly candies from Holland. I don't know. They're different than candies I've had elsewhere. But the black salted licorice ones were amazing. I really enjoyed them. So, hey from Holland, and thank you. Maybe you're even the one who sent that to me. So, I don't know who sent it, though. There was no note in there. I'd give the person a shout out, but I don't know who did it, so... Tom crawling over the desk will be in your nightmares. Thank you. Why not? Yes, black jelly beans are black licorice flavor. Good morning over in New Zealand. There's a whole other area over there. Awesome. I'm going to rant about something first so we can even, before we talk about projects. There's dumb things you have to do as a business owner. And I didn't get that many videos done this week or other projects done because I was dealing with the Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity. It is the opportunity to screw you over, Tom. So this was a notice that I had 10 days to comply with, which I don't think I'm in trouble. I don't know. I have people that I had to contact for this. It's funny because it says, do not call the agency with this information. You must submit the information requested in writing within 10 days. That's the first part of this problem. I didn't get the letter till a few weeks after the 10 days was up because our mail's going slow because of all the things going on. And there's no one to talk to at the Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity. And then you have to mail in letters for all this. All it is a bunch of insurance notice stuff. And when I called our insurer, because we have to keep, and we do properly carry all the proper licenses insurance to run a business, including workman's comp, they sent me a notice like, hey, you didn't do your workman's comp. I'm like, yes, I did. I called the people that I paid. I'm like, you withdrew the money. It's all good. And they're like, oh, yeah, your workman's comp is fine. Lots of people got this letter. Why? And they go, I don't know. So that was letter 1. Letter 2 are contractors who think they're employees because you used them once and they try to file for unemployment, and it causes you to write letters to deny unemployment and once again deal with another state agency. What state agency is this? Same state agency, but different division that also just sends me stuff. These are like the things that you have to deal with. I need to, when I get around to, I'll talk about this. I've got a video somewhere buried that I did before of how my business almost didn't start because of all the government paperwork and their mistakes. And the worst part about government paperwork mistakes, well, one of those is caused by someone. The other one is because it was caused by a contractor. The other one was just caused by mistakes at the government, who put the burden of proof on you. I had a lot of challenges 17 years ago when I started my company because the burden of proof was on me to prove I wasn't somebody I wasn't. They mistakenly identified me as a different business with a different name and couldn't break the separation between there, and it cost me a bunch of money and legal fees to get that separated. So one of these times, because I like to quote it all off the paperwork because it's such a disaster I had to go through. So yeah, fun stuff. Let's see. What else do we have here? Denmark. All right. Manchester. Switzerland. Yeah, it's big businesses just have more people to deal with it. Big companies and small companies alike deal with ineptitude in the government. A lot of it's just a massive piles of paperwork that you have to deal with. It's just crazy. So yeah, you're guilty until you prove your company innocent. The short of it is, I filed my company in 2003, so 17 years ago. And in 2003, I was in my mid-20s. Anyways, I allegedly was someone who owed $30,000 in payroll taxes, and I was starting up a new company under a different name to avoid said payroll taxes. I said, well, that person who owed that much in payroll taxes, because payroll taxes are a percentage of your overall payroll, they must have been very big and successful, but they didn't pay their payroll taxes and went out of business, and they assumed I was that person. And there was no amount of convincing I could do to them until you stand in front of a judge and say, hi, I'm some young guy who's in his mid-20s who clearly doesn't own a large company with 100 employees who skated out of paying a bunch of taxes that didn't have the same name as me at all. Not first name, not last name, not even a similar company name. I don't remember the company name they were assuming I was. And I had to defend myself against that for almost 6 months to prove I wasn't me. So that was the fun of that. What else do we have? Oh, Gareth, you're also someone who's been in business for 17 years. So 2003 for you as well. Awesome. Very cool. Someone said Proxmox or Unraid. I don't know. I don't use either one, so whatever one makes you happy. I don't use either one, so I can offer you no insight into that. Let's see. Chesterfield. Do I have July 4th plans? Not really. We had previously destroyed some printers. I'll recycle those videos. So so that's a different, yeah, so I don't really have much going on. I'm trying to think of July 4th. I forget that it's like 2 days from now, so not really. Matter of fact, because we're getting ready to put our house on the market, we don't want to blow things up in my backyard, because that means we're getting the backyard ready so we can sell my house, not so I can destroy it. Previously, we had blown up a few printers extensively, and I think you can probably find those videos on my website somewhere. They're from a while ago. So there's yeah, that's usually what we do, is just light off a bunch of fireworks and do stupid things with them, but it probably won't happen this year. It's also very dry out, so it's a lot more dangerous this year. We're kind of slightly droughtish here in Michigan, so I'd be worried about fires and things like that. It may be an issue. Liability insurance. So someone had asked here, do you carry any kind of insurance in working with customers or on customer sites, or since you hire a customer consultant is unnecessary? Consult with consult with attorneys to make sure everything you're doing everything right. But yes, we carry. There's a couple different things you need to do. You have different levels of liability. So there's liability as in you could oops something even as a consultant. Now it depends. How hands-on are you as a consultant? If you're extracted as a consultant and you're just saying, you should do this and you should do this, you're less likely to run into, but not impossible, less likely to run into legal problems. If you are a hands-on and you're installing a storage servers for people and you set things up wrong, well, you could be liable if you were to, I don't know, lose all their data somehow doing the transfer. That is something you may want to carry a liability policy for. The other side of it is making sure people understand, or you have some level of hold harmless on your recommendations. Hold harmless means they do not hold you in harm. So if I were to say, and these are generally assumed, but they can get nuanced really quickly. If I say, hey, you should use Ubiquiti cameras, they're great, and then some level of incident occurs and the Ubiquiti camera doesn't do the thing you thought it would do and some other incident comes about because of it, then you try to go back to, well, you're the one who recommended it, so I feel as though you are liable for that. And in a litigious world, it's a stretch, but there's levels that you have to have. You should have some type of general liability policy to cover stupid things like that. On the other side of it is, if you have liability in terms of the having equipment on site, so there's a couple different policies for that. You have to make sure that you're covered in terms of you don't damage their equipment, and that the equipment you may bring on site is covered. There's one. Also, we have to carry policies for, like, we lift the lifts we rent. We bring lifts that we rent from another company, we bring them on site, and we have to make sure we cover those from damage. So we have to carry a policy on that. There's a lot of layers of insurance that you need, that you have. And generally speaking, if you don't have a lot of claims, it's also not as expensive. So that's that's an important aspect of it. If you don't have a lot of claims, you spend a lot less money. So yeah, printers in my backyard. So what else? Omissions and errors. That's the word I was looking for. Willie said that in there. I've never had a claim in 17 years. Knock on wood or whatever. Good luck. I don't know. So far, no. The lawyers are the ones who always make all the money and things like that. That is an undoubtable fact. The most money made is in lawyers. Don't go into tech for don't go into tech because of money. Go into like a law, go into finance if you're just in it for the money. People who are just in a tech for the money, I don't think they do as well. You're also going to work a lot harder for less money, but if you went into finance, you went into law, if you're good at those, you can actually make quite a bit more. You know, it's weird. This is only 1 year ago, so... This is, that's what we did just last year for 4th of July. Or no, 2018. There we go. We did a slow-mo one, so we'll play this back. So this is I'll share this out again for 4th of July. It's the only proper way to get rid of a printer, right? Well, it doesn't have many views, but... that's all right. So it's Oki Data Printer retired with fireworks, in case anyone's trying to find that. So let's see. What else do we have? Was the printer insured? Yeah. Yep. Oh man, you could. I'm not an insurance expert, but you are right. There is a lot of there's a lot of different options, and it's generally you can get these things for pretty cheap. And if I'm not mistaken, over time my policies have gone down, and the reason they go down is because the no claims. So as you become more established in business, they go down over time and less issues. It's kind of an interesting thing. And a lot of times, because if you have this is also going to be very specific to the U.S., and I don't know how these policies at all translate to, so I know a lot of you are from outside the U.S. on here. One of the things to consider is, and the U.S. has very strong protections for businesses. So my company is set up as an S Corp, and being an S Corp, I have insurance. But if you don't have insurance and you're set up as an S Corp, but the S Corp doesn't have anything, you can't take things from me. You're taking things from the S Corp. So a lot of people start out with very little insurance, and if they have an oops, you can't go after them personally, and the business is new, so it didn't have any assets anyways. It may have some liquidity in the bank account, it may have a few things, but it's also, I mean, that's how a lot of businesses start out without those proper insurance, but there's not, what are you going to take from a business that doesn't have assets? So they can try to sue you, but that's what that protection layer is, the S Corp or LLC, to protect you from that. It's only if you get into some type of civil gross negligence that they could try to go beyond the S Corp. But generally inside the United States, there's a lot of protections afforded to businesses to protect them from certain liabilities, and that's why they set them up as the structures they do. Hopefully that helps. So it could be an in-depth and very long conversation to talk about that. So how much is my insurance? What does it cost? I'd have to look it up. I know I pay a lot, but my insurance is not one thing. I have all the things rolled into one big policy. I'd actually have to go through it because we have vehicles, company vehicles, we have the workman's comp. I have one single insurer. He's a multi-agent insurer, and through him, he has all of my individual policies that I buy. So I'd have to sit down and break it down and make sure I understand them and things like that. So it's not as easy as just throwing a number out there. And if you don't, if you talk to a business insurance agent, they'll usually go through and talk about your business, look up what business category you're in, and get you the policy that's recommended for you. Yes, I got cars and everything. So once you have staff, when you're an individual, you don't have the workman's comp. So I have to buy specifically workman's comp insurance. So I have policies that extend to contractors and employees and all that other stuff. So, company insurance costs me $5,000 for 3 vans. $5,000 is like one vehicle here in Detroit. So it gets real expensive because I'm in Michigan. Michigan is one of the highest in the United States for insurance costs. So I mean, if you just a car costs, just like a general home policy car, like your personal vehicle, is like $200 a month for insurance. So it's stupid. So yeah, insurance is not. It's a complicated topic. That's another business. That's a business that pays a lot of money. So, yeah, there's a lot of. It can be a lot of fun with playing with all the different legal policies, but it's not my field of expertise. I've been forced into having knowledge on it because I have to address and do things that function as a business owner that are less fun. That is an interesting aspect, though, is as you get to be a bigger company, eventually you hire a department that deals with it and it becomes less of a headache. That's one of the fun things about expanding. So Yelp, let's talk about Yelp real quick, because I was just hating on Yelp the other day. And you guys can help or hinder, I don't know. I'm not exactly thrilled with Yelp. Not because I'm some whiny person who got a bad review, but I just think Yelp is a terrible and awful company, and there's plenty of evidence to that. So, anyways, we're going to pull up a couple things here, and I'm going to show you guys. I just got to log in first. So, do an incognito. I'm going to make sure I got both of these pulled up. So it's a bunch of people, I think, as I complained about this a little bit last week, they left me some reviews, so it got better. But I just think it's funny. So it shows only 4 reviews. This is the first problem I have with Yelp. And also, I changed my logo. They finally accepted people hate us on Yelp as my photos and videos because they're such a shady company. It's kind of a pay-to-play system for it. Anyways, because this person left me a good review and this one person leaves a bad review, and so does whoever this person is, These two people leave reviews. Now, this person, horrible customer service, couple laptops to repair, spent a ton of money when I had to bring one back because of recurrent charging issue. Tech accused me of dropping and abusing the laptop, and he would not warranty it. Which, people come in with charging issues and it's destroyed. It's like, yeah. I like that people marked it funny. But they were also really upset for the fact that the part, people always ask how much does the part cost. I'm like, it's $6. Here's the little, the little thing, the DC jack you solder in. We tell them it's $6, and at the time we were charging $125 for labor, and it was clearly marked. And a person got super said this is a ripoff to charge $125 to replace a $6 part, and they don't understand labor. But the problem is the way Yelp works and the way they work their whole system is all about extorting you for money. They always say, well, you could do an ad, you could do this, and you could buy an ad to counteract that and things like that. They won't remove fake reviews. It took forever. I even told them I had the person's email address. They would not verify that it was that person that had registered and stole my company name because I had fired them, and they tried to register and got a bunch of bad reviews. And then they merged all the reviews together. So there was 2 of my company online for a while, and some of those bad reviews are finally, I don't know, they finally dropped off. I guess Yelp audited them or something like that as I got into it with the salespeople. But Yelp is just like such a scammy company because they take these people. If you notice, it only looks like I have a few reviews. I have a lot more reviews, but you can't see them because they're by people who don't use Yelp that often. So the reviews, I think there's like 16 more reviews. And the reason I'm going to show you that, hold on, let me break that down again. So, where does it show those? Oh, there we go. It's at the bottom here. So if you're looking at it, 12 other reviews that are not currently recommended. So these couple of reviews that are bad show up here, but these 12 others are hidden. They're hidden because those people don't carry enough weight, even though they said nice things about you. So let's give you a bad review here. And it's such a scammy system the way it works. They also sell ad space to competitors and they'll harass you and be like, well, we're going to sell ads on your lookup if you don't buy more ads from us and things like that. They feel like an extorting company when they have like the way they handle all of it. It's one of the reasons people always started asking me, and this came up in a couple conversations with some of our business owners, and I was just ranting about it again. Like, it is like the most infuriating Stu, yeah, Yelp is trash. Paid review removal. If you read up like on a history of scams that they've been busted in, there was that. They also tried to crack down on other business owners, leaving other business owners bad reviews. They didn't do a good job of that. They always come at you with buy some ads, buy some ads, buy some ads. So it was stupid. Yelp says you do not accept Google Pay and Apple Pay. That's weird. We do accept Google Pay and Apple Pay. I don't know if you can use Invoice Ninja with Apple Pay. I've never tried, or Google Pay, but we do that at our front counter. But most people don't come in. Most people pay online where it's a credit card. We use Stripe on the back end. So if Stripe accepts it, we accept it. That's actually the better answer. It's not as much a feature of Invoice Ninja as a feature of Stripe. And because Stripe accepts our payments, whatever Stripe accepts, we accept. So, I don't know. It's just like, it's annoying, and the Yelp people have been on me and calling me lately, and I just wanted to say how much they suck, and I let them know how much they suck. And the one girl chuckled a little bit when she called, because she did see they hate us on Yelp. I don't think she realized it right away, but they didn't take it down, so I'm happy. So I'm like, whatever. There was a restaurant that purposely wanted everyone to leave them horrible reviews on Yelp, and it turned into a game, which I think is fine. I hope Yelp dies a terrible death of some sort as a business. Like, they should just go away, fall off the planet. Like, they should just disappear as a company, and no one would miss them. So anyways, that's about my done rant on that. Google reviews are fine, and I have no problem. I think Google reviews are more rational. I've had gibberish show up a few times. And the weirder thing is people have put in gibberish and gave me 5 stars, and I don't complain about it, but I'm like, Google clearly, someone pocketed this, like just their phone in their pocket, I don't know. But at least Google has like a process, because that same person had tried to leave me bad Google reviews, to which Google deleted them. I said, these are fake reviews. This person only came in here to leave these reviews. They're a previous employee. Google was like, oh, okay. And away, took it away, and no big deal. They used their own name. I'm like, I could even show employment records. The person used to work for me. So anyways, that's my little rant on why I hate Yelp. Well, let's see. Question about pfSense. Got it set up with selective routing out to PAA. I also have a working incoming VPN, except it drops my non-local traffic instead of routing it out to the internet. I think you have to create another gateway for the incoming VPN to use the other outgoing VPN, and it just seems like it's a horrible idea, because you're trying to bring in one VPN and send it out another VPN. You could probably make it work. It sounds like it's a horrible idea to me. So, does Lawrence Systems accept gold? I could, I guess. It sounds too difficult. So, payment and jelly beans. Jelly beans are probably easier than gold. It's just not, yeah. Yelp was part of a Federal Trade Commission investigation. The problem is, it's not an easy thing to prove. So they did have a lot of things brought against them with the Federal Trade Commission. It was very difficult to prove. And by the way, Federal Trade Commission is not some super tech-savvy group of people that understood how to properly investigate some online company for reviews. They did not have the resources to really go after them. And this is actually true of not just Yelp, but really any tech company they try to investigate. There's a lot of challenges in doing that, and I don't believe it was a task they were really up for, especially when that investigation occurred. FTC investigation. When was that? That was all the way in 2015. So, one of the biggest and most influential review platforms in the world, Yelp, has constantly been hit with claims that it manipulates reviews so advertisers get higher rankings, led to investigation by the Federal Trade Commission. After 2,045 complaints were filed against the company, now Yelp says it's enclosed its investigation. It's one of those things, it's not easy to prove. This is the second time the FTC has investigated Yelp's business practices, the first one also being closed out with any further action. Furthermore, the federal court ruled in September that if Yelp does indeed reward higher rankings business that purchase ads on its platform, it would not be against the law. That's actually part of the problem too. So it's kind of a mess. But the other side of Yelp is they're actually kind of going away because there's better review platforms. Between Facebook and Google, they're getting destroyed in the ad platform market and in the review market. Google Reviews is just very dominant and is kicking their butt. So it kind of makes sense. Google being the position they're in, they had a better opportunity to do it. And so Yelp is slowly going away, which is why their salespeople are getting more aggressive. But they're not gone, so... It's also funny, so if we look over here, page visits, it's 196. To show how ineffective, that's in 12 months, 196 visits. I get like 1,000 a day on my Google. So 1,000 a day on Google, or 196 with 14 potential leads in the last year. Pretty much, Yelp, you've finally become insignificant, and I'm okay with this. So, you're not getting, and everything, if I want to change anything that you want to change content, talk about your business, everything, trust me, all of these are paid. Everything is pay for any type of listing on here, and I'm like, why? The only thing you guys do is push up there. I think my favorite takedown of Yelp is clearly, by far, South Park. South Park, that Yelp episode was amazing and spot on, and I thought it was just like, yeah. Well, let's see. Say what you really feel. There we go. I did. All right. So you're having a So I was Coincidence, I was watching you on a Roku and out of curiosity pressed the live chat button on a Roku and it seemed to turn a light on in there and off. Could be. I don't know. We'll leave that to the mystery there. That's interesting. So does the Roku remote turn things on and off in Tom's office? I haven't tried. I have a Roku at home. They're pretty neat. Please do a UniFi video integrating APs with Windows DHCP server and non-UniFi core switch, trying to integrate UniFi into existing network with nothing but headache. I don't understand that as a question. UniFi video, UniFi switch, and AP with Windows. Just use Windows as a DHCP server. I don't understand that as a problem. Just don't use UniFi. Use the Windows as a DHCP server. So I'm not sure how to make a video out of that. It's just a matter of use whatever DHCP server makes you happy. So it works with your network. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm trying to read through these comments. You want so Jacob from India would like a setup of an office video conference with a TV and CCTV camera and the room have a media speak with wireless mic. I don't really have any solution for that. I mean, not wireless mic. I mean, there's wireless mics out there. I'm far from an expert on them. There are plenty of other YouTubers who know more about wireless mics than I do. I have a wired mic into my camera, so. Yeah, I hope Yelp does go away. I agree with that. Greetings from Vegas. All right. What else do we have? Jacob, you keep asking that question one more time. No problem. I'll just block you. So. Oh, yeah. Don't use DHCP. Use static IP. That's a fun way to do it. Good morning, watching from Tokyo. Wow, that's pretty far too. I don't see many people mention from Tokyo. So, back to some other things and other fun, project-wise, and some of the picture I took and things like that. Another pre-deployment project. I was trying to decide, and the problem is, I don't know if it's really a problem, but I tweeted this out as well. I mean, this is a project that's getting installed, but I can't go film there. We preset these up. So we configure these, we set them up, we get them ready for the client, and then we deliver them or ship them to them in different cases. This is another team is actually installing all these. That's why I can't even do that part of it. We just do it all remotely. That's one of the reasons we haven't done a lot of the on-site ones. Now I'm working on one that we can. So we want a very reasonable good bid that we're wiring up a building. So I plan to go there a few times and do some walkthroughs to talk about that aspect of it. I know people love the on-site videos, and because this one in particular is new construction, we're going to be able to actually go there and do a little bit of filming. I don't know how much, but definitely some. And that was the picture I used right there. It was just I stuck jelly beans under the same ones. So but yeah, those projects are kind of fun, and I've done a couple on how we pre-set up, pre-configure, and do all the firewalls and things like that. So that's I'm trying to find the best ways. I want to do more of what I do when I'm not doing videos, like what does Tom do here at this company, and a lot of it's coordinating those projects. This is a very important aspect of being a business owner, is putting all the pieces in place. So the new sales guy's been working. The new sales guy needs like, you got to keep them focused, especially the first week. It's just so much going on. So I make sure that he's got all the proper lead generation. Well, mostly he's just calling on all the existing clients. It's like the easiest lead generation when you've been in business for a while is break out some lists, look at them old quotes, who hasn't been called in a while, and out of the blue, not really out of the blue, but one of the other projects we did, the company now has another project for us. So we're going to be bidding that one next week. The new sales guy is going to be doing his first discovery call next week, or discovery on-site visit to set things up. So maybe I'll cover, because it's all fresh again, doing it with the new sales guy. Some of those, I'll make some videos on that topic of how we do it. But people overcomplicate the hell out of it and think there's something more to it. There's not. It's actually kind of simple. Go there, ask some questions, talk to the client, figure out what they need, and put things together. So that's an important thing to do, but it's also kind of it's trying to figure out how to make content around that versus my tutorials. Tutorials are easy. I start with, how do we do something in PF Sense? This is how we accomplish it. How do we, or the review, or how do we set up these Wi-Fis for these Arubas, which the Aruba people email me. They like the review, and they also are going to probably send me one more to do another video. And I am definitely doing a comparison video. I didn't tell them that, but I will be doing a comparison for these Arubas versus the UniFi, because I know people are in, like, they want a head-to-head. That's fine. I do too. So I think it might be interesting. I don't know which one's better. So that's going to be an interesting one where we compare a similar done. So those videos are coming soon, and so are a bunch of FreeNAS videos, because I did a video this morning. This server here, I turn it off when I'm in here, but it's been on. It's me testing the FreeNAS 12. Now it's out in beta. Here's my 4th of July plans. I may upgrade some of my video server to FreeNAS 12. The beta's out. I need to do some bug testing. I'm going to be doing new videos on it. I really like the enhancements. The new features look good. So expect a whole lot of new videos on FreeNAS, because the 12 jump is pretty big, because that's when it becomes the TrueNAS core. So yes, William Daughtery, XG7100, great router for sure. Oh, do we charge everyone the same price and same rate, or we grandfather people in? Not much grandfathering. We have very, very, very few, like 1 or 2 people that get grandfathered in. Pretty much everyone gets the same rate increase. They have to really be someone, you know, that we want to keep the old rates in place for some reason, to keep them as a client, and we value them enough to not raise it. But generally, we try to keep everybody at the same rate, just for consistency and lack of you know, confusion when you're doing the billing of, oh, that's right. I mean, we can put the rate in a system, but it's easier if everyone has the same rate, way easier. So we try to do that. So that's a big piece of it. What kind of experience did your sales guy have before you hired him? Actually, not. He had sales experience, not a lot of tech experience, but I actually employed one of his relatives for a long time, and more specifically, went to school with his parents. So I kind of sort of indirectly knew the salesperson we hired. It is also weird to think that I've hired someone and I'm old. And why am I old? I don't. It's like one of those things you think about, like, wow, that's one of those things that hit you. I'm hiring someone who I know his parents because I went to school with them. So he's not a overly experienced, but really good and a good candidate, and that's who we hired for a salesperson. So I'm not unhappy about any of this. It's very different than hiring a 20-year seasoned veteran of sales like Brett was, but it's still it's been good. He's closing deals and making things happen, so that's the important part. So, yeah, instant on, but take 10 minutes to boot. That is one little annoying part about these Arubas. They definitely take a little bit longer to boot than expected. I thought that was unusual as well. There's definitely no questions there. Ooh, plugging in the wrong power adapter will create unexpected behaviors. So yeah. I don't know if I'm going to test the TP-Link access points. I don't know. See, the Aruba someone sent me, but if I get the TP-Link ones, I don't know. I haven't had many people ask about them. The UniFi are really popular and inexpensive. So everyone loves the UniFi product line. They're a very hot seller. Not just because I don't use them just because I do videos on them. They're very reliable. They're very, I don't know, we just don't have many ever go bad. And so they're a solid product. Now, Aruba's a more commercial product and obviously been in the space a long time. So the Aruba one's interesting. And people wanted me to compare the UniFi to a commercial, larger product. There are a ton of one-off, off-brand products, and I don't know, to me they're a lot less interesting because it's harder to get off the off-brand products a consistent product line from them. So they may have a model that's great and a model that's bad. There's not always a consistent across the board to their models. So let's see. You started a sale. Talking about sales, I started a little blog to fill out the site with some content. Do you have any suggestions for topics? Nope. I mean, rate topics that people are interested in. I guess that's my suggestion. Oh, yeah. A lot of companies go all in for Cisco and that's it. So there's not much you can do about that. Want to know the best way to use a Datto appliance? Install FreeNAS on it. That's neat. I did not know. I never thought of it. I've never played with the Datto appliances. So, have I done sales training? Not really. I think I have a handful of videos. If you type sales into my channel, you'll find I've done a handful of videos on sales. I've not gone through any professional at all levels of sales training. So, I just kind of muddled my way through and figured it out. If you don't increase some sales, I'm calling your parents. Oh, yeah. Oh, let's see. No one's impressed. He says, Kent says, not impressed with UniFi VPN. No one is. I don't ever recommend the UniFi USG series for VPN. They're just, if you need more than basic routing, I don't recommend the UniFi routers at all. Router/firewall. I think they have too many shortcomings. If you need anything above basic routing, you have challenges with them. So, yeah, the TP-Link. I mean, they're like when I play with I think it was a TP-Link switch. I have a video on it. The TP-Link switch is kind of neat, but one of the things I pointed out was even though you can tag and trunk VLANs on it, I haven't tried the new firmware. A few people asked me to do a new review on it for new firmware, but I think it's less relevant now because UniFi came out with those little baby switches. But anyways, those switches, you can still get to the main IP address. You can VLAN hop on them. Sorry, yawning there. Sorry to anyone else that may repeat that yawning. But yeah, I found them a little bit challenging and not very secure. I also pointed out when I was testing with TP-Link, at least when I had tested, that it only exclusively supported HTTP and not HTTPS. So there was also some security challenges that kind of came with them as well. What sort of routing challenges? I guess you need to be more specific. If you're talking about the USG, they route fine, but they're just very basic. And if you need any real VPN support, yeah, they're really, really weak on that particular aspect. When I go into the office, what's the first device I turn on? I would say that's going to be my the light switch. So once you get beyond the light switch, I usually smash the space bar on my computer to turn that on, and I go make some coffee. And it kind of depends. Yeah, coffee pot. So the coffee part though is I usually, if it depends on what time I come in. If I come in early, I make coffee here. I've always already had coffee at home, so it just depends. If I have a lot of coffee in the morning, I won't make coffee here because, like the other day, I was at a little event that I went to and they had coffee, so less of an issue. Yeah, I mean, the TP-Link is very affordable switches. But since those little ones came out that UniFi makes, those are, what, $30? They're killing it in the market. Like, those things are popular because you get a managed switch for a really low price and one that's actually easier to manage than the TP-Link. The USG Pro, yes, the USG Pro can do IPsec. But and it'll do that for site to site. It just is a challenge to make it work properly. The site to site button's awesome. You click it, it just works. You're like, cool, everything's routing. Then you have to play with the rules. The challenge we've seen is where they just go up and down randomly. And we've had a lot of people, if you type, unstable VPN, we don't know what caused it to be unstable. They don't give you any error messages. And those are where the challenges come in, because you don't have great debug logs to really get in there and dive into exactly what they can do. Yeah, and as Chris pointed out, all USGs can do IPsec, not just the Pro, but they can be a little bit challenged. Also, if you need something like a lot of people, and this has been the big thing that we install a lot of lately in the last 6 months, have been OpenVPN for people remoting in for individual users. That's where the USG falls flat, is setting up an OpenVPN server on it. Someone's going to point out some hacky way to do it. It's not well supported. It doesn't work well. It's a headache. So it's much, much better to do really any other firewall for that. Yeah, TP-Link's really big in the consumer market. It comes on the price. Consumers looking for inexpensive devices. MikroTik has really good for the price point. MikroTik's got some good devices as well, so they're not bad. I don't know. The higher end Aruba ones, I don't know what demand level there is in terms of me reviewing them. I don't know. I'm not as familiar with their ecosystem. Now, they claim, but give no real numbers. They commented that they keep the portal going for X amount of days. And this is what bothers a lot of people about anything that ties to a portal. The portal is only as good as the company will support the portal. That's where the challenge comes in. Will they continue to support the portal? Will the portal go away after 6 months, 9 months, 12 months? Because once it does, that's what happens to these. Open Mesh was famous for that. Open Mesh, everyone kept telling me to use Open Mesh. This is a number of years ago. Oh, they're the best thing, blah, blah, blah. And then Datto bought them, which is fine. I mean, that's what the company did. And their free portal went away, and everything, either you bought a subscription to keep it going or you didn't have a way to manage it. That was how a lot of these companies do it. So it's kind of a pain when companies have no local management. Now, I won't lie. The Aruba Switch, on the other hand, which is over here, the Aruba Switch is a solid, well-performing, well-made, heavy steel switch. Works well, has a lot of features, except their portal. They said they appreciated the feedback. We emailed back and forth. I'm like, yeah. I was like, you guys have a portal with no features. Like, you have a very capable switch, and it kills all the features to put it in a portal. So I don't really, I don't understand why they even bother having them in the portal. It's almost like a gimme, like we can put them in a portal, throw a couple of VLAN options so it has something in there. But it's a very in-depth switch with no features when you tie it to the portal. As I covered that in a video. So I don't work with Juniper too much. I am familiar. I know who Juniper is, but I haven't spent a lot of particular time with them. Let's see here. Here we go. Oh, I thought it was. Oh, that's Palo Alto. I was like Juniper. I thought Juniper was one. I would just see something in the news about them. It wasn't Juniper. It was Palo Alto. So, whoops. Authentication bypass and SAML authentication. Security level 10. Look at that. We got a whole level 10 going here. So, what is it? How's it? It's making it wiggle. That's cool. Anyways, I have worked with Juniper. I know that's not Juniper. I know it's Palo Alto. So it just made me think of it because they're the other big company out there. But, yeah, I've heard good things about them. I've worked with very few of them. I've had a couple friends that I know work more with them. They said they really like the platform. I've had other people tell me they're buggy. I have zero I have zero direct experience with them to tell you whether or not there's any bugs. Most of the time, like I copied a config when we were replacing some Juniper with PF Sense combined with some edge switches. So we had copied configs and looked at stuff, but that was it. I didn't actually change anything. I just they were getting rid of the old stuff because they just really like the price point way better on setting up a system with the Netgate hardware than they did with the Juniper hardware. It saved them a fortune, and they got the HA features they were looking for. Hey, Riley Chase, thank you from HostiFi. And many of you probably know I've done an interview with Riley Chase, and we really like the HostiFi platform. We push a lot of people to it. If you're looking for a place to host, it's geared more towards business, so people who want to host it yourself. I'm not trying to take that away from you at all. But the question seems to come up a lot. Hey, I want to host my own controller, but I don't know how to update it. I don't want to maintain it. I don't want to maintain the base operating system or the controller itself. That's why Riley Chase invented or put together HostiFi. And it's a great product for that particular use case. And it's funny because we get a lot of people going, why want you to manage it, Tom? I'm like, I don't know. All I'm going to do is buy a service plan from Riley Chase and mark it up and sell it to you. Or we tell people, you can go directly to the source, buy it at HostiFi. What they're doing is they're trying to get me to do it for less than Riley Chase does, and I won't. I'm not in competition. It doesn't make sense. I'm not going to take the time to build the structure around that he has. So check that out. Check out the interview with Riley. He hasn't had the company that long, so for those of you thinking there's no new ideas, he's got a lot. And Riley, I didn't catch all of it, but it looks interesting. I seen Riley, and we'll call this out because I thought this was kind of novel. We're going to pull this up on Twitter real quick, as I think I know what you're trying to do, and let me find it. Here we go. Where? It's the link you had to Product Hunt. But anyways, I don't have the link exactly, but I'll tweet it out later, so follow me on Twitter. But it's a Raspberry Pi with a Bluetooth speaker and Stripe API and a few lines of Python. And it's an idea basically, so I'm assuming, Riley, and you can confirm this, that every time you get a money that comes in through Stripe, it says something. I know you posted it somewhere, and I don't have the link handy right now, but that actually sounds really clever. Let's see. I don't know if Riley has reseller accounts. I'll let him answer that. I'm not positive if he does or not. Maybe that's the next thing he gets into, is having a reseller account. That might make sense. Yeah, I do have an affiliate link if you want to sign up for HostiFi. He does. I see Riley answered. He doesn't have directly a reseller, but generally speaking, what they're doing is you can host more than one client on an account with HostiFi. I should probably do a new updated review of it, but you can host more than one of your clients. So let's say you're like me, and we manage your own controller. Just full disclosure, I manage mine. But if you wanted to not deal with that aspect of it, you could buy the space and an account with HostiFi. They'll manage all the controller, and then you can put not one, but many clients in there. And he's got all that broke down on the site for how many clients you can have supported per server, et cetera, et cetera. But you can host many of your clients in one single spot. So if you have 5 clients, 10 clients, whatever that number is, you can host and set up all different accounts for them within there. So it works well. It's well, the UniFi controller software works well. Riley basically built structure around it to make the automated and back-end update process a lot nicer. I don't deal with the low latency. Oh, cool. We got the exact Twitter link. So awesome. Let me pull this up. I don't deal with anything low latency for high-speed trading for that. It's not really, yeah. So FYI, you've been added as a maker of Cash Register Pi on Product Hunt. Let's actually check this out. Cash Register Pi. So Cash Register Pi plays a sound, a ka-ching. Each new stripe charge succeeded with the event. So I'll actually tweet this out. Well, I'll tweet it. Yeah, cool. Oh, there's a tweet button. Tweet, there. You guys can find it on my Twitter and Riley's Twitter, and if you can find it. But this is actually kind of cool. I like this. Neat product. So check this out. I think might be kind of fun. Oh, he's got a demo. Let's watch the demo real quick. This is kind of cool. I like the cash register ching. I don't know. I might have to put one of these together. This is actually pretty clever. I like it. So check it out. It's a neat project. And if I'm not mistaken, did you make this open source? Software as a Service Army audio version. Yeah. Anyways, pretty cool. Check that out. That's definitely something neat. I knew I'd seen him posting it somewhere. So that's tweeted out. All right. Let's catch up with the questions again. What else do we have here? Which is the best NVR for a 32-channel system to run 28 Samsung IP? We like the Synology systems. They don't really have channels though. The Synology, and you go to the Synology, they have an NVR finder, so you put in how many cameras you want. You just have to buy licenses for the camera. They're not channels, they're IP cameras, so you don't do it on a per channel basis. Cash Register Pi, yes. Have you done a video on how to set up Acme Let's Encrypt HA proxy offloading on pfSense? Is it doable on a VM? It's absolutely doable on a VM. Have I done a video on it? No. Will I do a video on it? Not likely. I'm not, that's not my field of expertise. I know how to do it, but I don't know how to, I have to know things at a level of, like, if I understand something at a high level, I'll do a video on it. If I understand it at a very basic level, it's harder for me to do a video on because it's not something I do every day. So for me to do a video on it is usually something I've done repetitively. So we set up thousands of UniFi access points and switches and accessories for UniFi. We know this stuff inside and out. Our expertise on it isn't just from, reading some manuals, it's also from actively deploying these systems. Matter of fact, the client that just called us to bid their building, we've already installed like 300 plus devices at their current buildings that we've done so far, and they want more for everything we saw. They're so happy with the way the projects are turning out. We keep getting more projects from this client. Because I don't, on a daily basis, set up a virtual machines or really any Linux boxes to do Acme Let's Encrypt. Do I know how to do it? Yeah, I've set it up. I've set up reverse proxies and handed them off. But I usually if you were to watch me do it, it's not fast. It's me staring at it going, what do I got to do? Oh, yeah, bind it to this port. Oh, yeah, that's right, do this. Oh, it didn't work. What did I do wrong? Oh, I forgot to turn this little feature on in Nginx. It's like, it's not my field of expertise. And even when I do have to do it in production for some of the things we host, I usually contact one of the contractors that we use to I usually get the base level set up and have them do the final, and the reason why is for security. I have them either go through what I did or just set it up, and I'll just pay them to set it up and audit it to make sure it's done properly. So there's a lot of, especially one of the things I know they do is usually go out and remove and deprecate any old security that's in there. So make sure it only accepts TLS like 1.2 and above, get rid of ciphers that aren't in use, little tweaks that the best in practice that they might do to make sure it's set up properly. So it's not my field of expertise. So it's not something that you're likely to see a video. I know it's a long-winded answer, but I wanted to make sure I speak to, like, it's just not what I do. Blue Iris is interesting. Someone had asked us if Blue Iris had AI. And I didn't understand if it did or didn't. And I did find, though, and let me go find the link, because I'll bring this up a little bit. It's interesting. It's the best way I can describe it. So where'd it go? So I was on the Blue Iris website, and I did not see anything about AI, but people had asked me, hey, Tom, do a video on Blue Iris and AI. So then I found this project, and I thought, this is kind of neat. And what this is an add-on for Blue Iris to get Blue Iris to do AI. But there's a couple problems here. One of them, I don't use Blue Iris, so I'm already not familiar with that software. Also, based on 46 pages and going of forum posts, this is the support for that. This is not a commercial product. This is a hobby where people, and a good hobby, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to downplay the brilliance of this particular product, but it's not something I can sell. It's not turnkey. It's not something I would install at a business. If you're a home user and want to build this, awesome. But that being said, this is a complex system to set up and configure. Even if you do some search for videos on it, I found one person who didn't even do a tutorial video. They just showed how it works, but made the comment in that video of how hard and how much time they had, hundreds of hours of setting it up and configuring it. So maybe I'm wrong, and I'm also going by someone else's video, and this is also, to me, when I look at the menus on Blue Iris, hey, cool, you threw a lot of features in there. Also, you have to take the time to learn a lot of features. So I'm not knocking a product, but I'm saying that's why Tom doesn't do a lot of videos or recommend it. I don't feel like it's the best commercially supported product. It seems a little bit more complicated versus some of the other ones, which do come with support and do have better maybe commercial support options on them. So hopefully that helps clear that up a little bit. So what else do we have here? Yeah, Blue Iris is Windows only. That much I can confirm. That's, as a matter of fact, even the person I watched their video on it, if you type in like Blue Iris AI, I don't remember the person's video off the top of my head, but they're one of the only people. It's got a lot of views. That was their first complaint, is that Blue Iris only runs in Windows. And he wishes, but says there's no roadmap, there's no plan to get Blue Iris off of Windows. So any problems that come with Windows and Windows Update or anything like that inadvertently will affect Blue Iris. And I don't think Windows is the most solid, best platform for that. I think building things on a Linux platform is a lot easier because you don't need all that extra BS in there that Windows loads versus loading things on to just a Linux box where you, in Linux, you build differently too. Granted, I know Windows is trying to get there with like the server, and they have the command line only server, etc. But the way it works in Linux, you can build a custom spin of Linux with only the minimum things needed. An example is going to be like XCPNG. They built only the things they need to run the VMs, or the UniFi NVR behind me, which we've been really happy with. It just did an update. And we did have to reboot it after the update, so I'm trying to like make notes of any problems we've had with it, but because it runs Linux. They built a custom Linux core with only the necessities in it to get the things done they need, so the updates are relatively small. They're way faster than any Windows update, which always takes like forever. So yeah, it's there. Any experience with Shinobi? Shinobi's pretty neat. I played around with it, but I felt it was incomplete. It was a novel project, far from being ready for prime time. The developer reached out to me, asked if I had questions. I said, it just felt incomplete. Now, granted, that's been a long time since I looked at the project. I don't know where it's at today versus where it was then. It looked clever, I won't lie. They have a nice website. Let me look at their gallery here. It looks like a neat product. They have a pro version. They have a getting started. It was nicer than when last time I was at the site, so that's cool. But I've not spent enough time with it to... I didn't feel it being a complete project. It's kind of like, okay, here's a Docker image to do this and put this together. It's not like just is turnkey. It's neat though. I hope it gets some love and goes somewhere and does something awesome. May not be where we're at today, but I do hope that's where we end up with it. So if that makes sense. Wow, a lot of emails. All right. Back over to here, PinNet tab. Oh, what else we have here? SSO protocol minus all plus TLS 1.2 or 1.3. So TLS 1.3 is pretty well supported now, so I would recommend it. Oh, let's see. This is awkward. I've only watched replays of your live stream, and coincidental, this is live. Thank you for all your content. Thank you for your support. It is appreciated. And I've inspired you. This is Leon PvP. So thank you for your support. Thank you for actually being able to join a live stream instead of watching it in replay. What else do we have? I answered a Shinobi question. Photo GIMP. That's pretty cool if you're coming over from Photoshop. I haven't looked at that, but I took the time to learn GIMP a couple years ago. And once I learned GIMP, I didn't forget Photoshop. I have fond memories of Photoshop because I was a Photoshop user for years. But yeah, GIMP is not Photoshop, and whatever. So I'll admit there's probably some better ways we could do it and better ways we could have everything come over. But the learning curve is hard when you go from Photoshop to GIMP. And still, I like GIMP, but it is not Photoshop. It just doesn't have all the features. It's getting better, but it doesn't have them all. So how do I get Linux? Matter of fact, I just downloaded the Pop! OS again because I broke my computer. And one of the things that's tricky, and let me find the documentation. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, yeah, here. This is what I was doing. This is actually why I was late, is my technical difficulties, is I had to download Pop! OS. I somehow, through, I don't know, stupidity of my own probably, restarting it because I got aggravated, I had to do this. And this is one of the tricky things, is when you encrypt all the things, it's a lot harder because you have to decrypt the drive in order to do a disk check on it. I always recommend and always back up and always recommend, I say this twice because backups and encryption go hand in hand, because when things are encrypted, if something goes a little wrong, you may lose it all. So even though everything was backed up, I didn't want to go through the inconvenience of reloading. So when my system decided not to boot, because I rebooted it and forced shut it down, somehow a file, which is the first time this has ever happened in all my years of Pop! OS, I had to go and recover it. And to recover it, I had to boot up off of Pop! OS, which I didn't even have handy, so I had to download it, put it in there, then unencrypt the drive. And this is the basically how to go in, find the drive, unencrypt it. I didn't have to reload anything. I just had to basically run a disk check on there because it did not want to run one on itself. And I don't know why, but it was stuck. So once you boot off of a drive, you unencrypt your local, which happens to be, I'm pointing at the NVMe one because I have NVMEs in my desktop computer. So I booted it, went to the NVMe drive, unencrypted it, ran a disk check, fixed it, rebooted it. Now, if that wouldn't have worked, yes, you can also do this. It's been a long time since I've used CHroot, but CHroot's kind of neat because you can take and change it and reload over the top and move what the boot drives are, even though you booted off a live one. It goes way out of scope of what I want to talk about today in general, but this is pretty cool that they have a nice article on how to recover. They have a methodology documented, which is very helpful because I don't do this very often, so this is also one of those things, because I do it so infrequently, I do have to spend some time RTFM to figure that out. So that was what I was doing, and actually why I was late getting this done. If Blue Iris works for you, awesome. So that I don't have anything against Blue Iris, so Blue Cherry? I haven't heard of that one. So you're using Blue Cherry for a simple 2-cam watching it. I did do a Raspberry Pi camera video for the Raspberry Pi camera system. That one works pretty good. I mean, for the basics, it's a neat project. I gotta break that project back out and maybe do some more testing with it. And that all started as my sump pump camera project, but I still have it. It still works. I seen, because they have those new cameras for the Raspberry Pi, they look really slick, and those new cameras someone built, and like, it looks like, I seen this on Twitter, someone had 3D printed and turned it into like more like a camera, like a digital camera, and I thought that looked like kind of a neat project. So how do you restore all your packages and configuration with Pop! OS? Back up your home drive. Packages, there's a tool which I haven't used in a long time because I haven't had to do a restore. I use it in Debian, but there's a package list. You could just dump your package list, and then when you apt-get install, you can feed it back the package list. So if you make a list of the packages prior to your computer dying, you can dump that list of packages and go back. I have a whole video on that particular topic. So if we go to, where's that video at? What is it called? Package. Apt clone. So this particular tool is really slick. Apt package management using apt clone. So apt clone is what you're looking for, is one of the ways to do it. It's funny that I do some of these videos because a lot of people ask me about the question, and it's a frequently asked question, but it has all of 3,000 videos after almost a year. No, just 3,000 views. Not many views on there, but this is the one where I show how to use apt clone. Apt clone will build package lists and dump them out to a file, and then you use that same apt clone tool to go backwards and restore everything and rebuild all the package lists that you have in there. And then your home drive is what has all your settings in there. That part's really arbitrary. I don't think much about that. So, do you use encrypted FreeNAS storage tools? Yes, always. I encrypt all the things. I find Linux on the desktop, I've been running it for over 10 years now, so I find it easier than running Windows. I feel lost and clunky when I'm using Windows. I always feel like, I don't know, it's just a broken thing. This laptop runs Linux, but I've also 10 years a user of Linux full time is a completely different thing than but so once you get used to it, it's not a big deal. But if you're not used to it, Linux is going to be hard. You're in a different environment. You're looking for things a certain way. But there's a reason a lot of developers really like Linux, and why Microsoft has been working hard to develop things in there. So I don't know, give it a go again. But it comes down to, do you have specific tools that don't work on Windows that you need? If you have some applications that are constantly in use, this is even some of my staff. Some of the MSP tools we have force us to use Windows, and running it in a VM is greatly inconvenient. Therefore, they do run Windows on our desktop because that makes it easier to get their job done. It would be less efficient to do it otherwise. So I do encrypt my whiskey. Encrypted HTTP on PC is a pretty pain maker. I don't even think about it. I use full disk encryption all the time. Outside of the recovery challenges that it can create when you do have a major issue, overall, it's my laptop gets randomly shut down. My computer, I randomly shut it down. I probably should go through shutdown processes more often that I don't. So it was a matter of time before the issue ever popped up, because it was like, I'm not. Yeah, I look at things as stuff I should break, are breakable or durable, and if they're not, I should know how to fix them, and I did. So, yeah, I will say, Riley, like you're mentioning here, I have not used elementary OS, but one of the things I do is the last couple years I've been really happy with Pop! OS. Now, for a while I tried Parrot. Parrot was good until Parrot wasn't good, and it just got to be they tried to throw everything in there and they kept constantly breaking things with updates. Pop! OS on the other side, really solid, no problems, works great, updates don't bother me, things go really well. I'm thrilled with it. So it kind of depends on what you're using. I would say Pop! OS or Ubuntu are really stable. I can't speak for some of the other ones. I know for a little while there was all these weird quirkiness. My friend who loves Linux Mint, and he's a very deep Linux user, long time like myself, he always was dealing with stupid little quirky issues with it. They're not issues I ever have with Pop! OS, and that's one of the reasons I settled on it. It just is so stable, I've narrowed it down. For a few years ago, I was using KD Neon. It just kept having quirky, crashy UI issues. It never was so bad I couldn't get work done, but it was annoying. Pop! OS has been absolutely brilliant, rock stable, no issues, so I keep using it. It's just been one of those it's been the most reliable of all of them, even more reliable than when I used to use Ubuntu. So, your recommendation for a 1 gig 250 meg connection router firewall with dynamic routing, VPN, budget limit 1,000, and other open source pfSense. I don't understand. You want other than pfSense? I don't know. I got 0. Get a pfSense. Buy a Netgate 1100. If you want something other than pfSense, I haven't used it. Therefore, I don't have a suggestion for you. If you've ever came to this channel, you probably know I recommend pfSense. I'm not an expert. I mean, Untangle's good. I do like Untangle as well. But you're probably looking for fully open source, I guess. So I don't understand your question very good there. Yeah, the whole Windows subsystem is definitely interesting. Pop! OS has the elementary OS store. No, they have the Pop Shop. That's different. The Pop Shop is not the same as the elementary OS store. It might be similar, but yeah. Yeah, every other day you end up in a Stack Exchange rabbit hole. I know that rabbit hole. This is one of the reasons... that's one of the reasons I like Pop! OS. I have spent with my laptop, when I got this laptop, it was when Pop! OS 1904 was out, and I had to switch to either the beta, the 1910, or there was some one kernel driver change. It was because the trackpad didn't work. So the only challenge I had with Pop! OS was a non-working trackpad, which was easily fixed with one thing. And after 1910, the trackpad worked perfectly fine. It's because it was a new model, there was a bug in the trackpad, and it had a trackpad problem. That's the only problem I've had. My desktop, which I have a build video on, which is where all my YouTube editing goes on and everything else, 0 problems since I built it. It's been rock solid, absolutely stable, no issues, and away we go. So that's been not a problem at all. Any tips on authenticating users? Use whatever you want to authenticate. So if you want to use Radius, use Radius. I don't know what tip you're looking for. Use the one that's required for the design you're doing. I don't know how good 4K is, so yeah. The 4K thing, I haven't really done much testing on Linux. I have heard with the version 20 and Pop! OS, the 4K and the scaling works substantially better because the developers, and this is from my friend Jay, he's been to the Pop! OS. He flew out to Colorado. He spent some time with the lead developer there. Jay has Learn Linux TV, if you haven't heard of him, a great channel for a lot of Linux, good solid Linux tutorials. He spent a lot of time with the people over at System 76 and the developer team. They were all using and working very hard at a lot of new features in Pop! OS for the 4K scaling. And I don't have any 4K monitors right now, so I haven't really tested it. But allegedly, the 20 series now with Pop! OS has been really enhanced to work great with 4K monitors. I don't have direct experience to tell you, but it seems to work. So, hey, Riley, see you later. Heading out for dinner. Have fun. Thank you for coming and joining, and thank you for the donation. It was greatly appreciated. Yep, Pop! OS working fabulously on a 49-inch ultra-wide. So that was one of the things I know too. Pop! OS, one of the head developers, one of the UI people, had that really wide, I forget the dimensions, but they're kind of an unusual monitor. It's like a double wide single monitor. And they had done a lot of enhancements to make sure things worked well with that scaling of the monitor. Best value for the money? I still think the SG-1100, because the Edge router, it's all about command line to get anything running, and then it's just not as powerful as the SG-1100 in terms of if you need any VPN or other features. So it kind of falls short on that. HP T620s. Yeah, I've heard people mention those. I'm not a huge fan of the HP series of servers and computers. They all boot really slow. That's the annoying part of them. They seem to be solid. We had one for, I say we don't like them. We had one for years that we used. That's how I know how slow they boot. But you're not rebooting servers every day, so that slow boot time became not a big deal. Yeah, running 4K on a Dell XPS 13 can be a little bit tiny. You have to make sure you have all the scaling turned on to make that work in a coherent way. That is for sure. Definitely an issue you'll run into there. I am winding this down towards the end because I have to hit the restroom soon, so I can't sit here forever. It's also getting close to 6 o'clock, so I've been going for an hour and a half. What was I going to pull up that was funny? I don't know about funny. Let's go off topic for a minute because I'll laugh about this because I learned something today. What did I learn today? Where was it? I posted this because I did not know, and maybe some of you know. I've been looking at houses. I'm moving, for those of you that are new to me talking about that. And I learned about the Pittsburgh toilet. And the Pittsburgh toilet, this is a house. I was like, why is there a toilet just down here in the basement? And it turns out, Pittsburgh toilet, this is my errata and stupid fascination. It turns out it was popular, starting in Pittsburgh, to just have a toilet somewhere in the basement, just kind of there. And I've noticed there's a few houses we've seen for sale. And basically a Pittsburgh toilet is a toilet where there is no surrounding walls. It's not in a bathroom. It's just kind of, well, there. And I found this like more amusing than I should have. It's stupid, I know. But I was looking at houses and that really amused me, the fact that that's what that's called. So it's always something else to learn. So that was my stupid I learned today. So so that is definitely kind of funny. Why do you have these interesting non-standard work hours? How come you don't work at 7 or 8? I'm here every morning roughly between 7 and 8 a.m. Kind of depends on what I got going on, but I'm here till 7 or 8 a.m. I leave here at 6 or 7 p.m. So I do have, I guess, weird work hours. But like yesterday, I went house shopping, so I just disappear. I don't have any type of absolutely set schedule, so it's kind of like I do and shift around as I need to get things done. But yesterday was house shopping day, so that's what I was busy doing because I want to move to another house. And then you guys, if anyone wants to buy my house, it's going to be on the market soon. So my house will be on the market soon as we find a house to move into. Let's see. Is there a sink? Sometimes there's a sink. So, yeah. What videos will we see next week? Let's see. Are clients ever concerned they have to wait till 10 a.m. to call your business? Nope. They leave a voicemail if they want. They email us. We've really beat it over people's heads. Please email us. So that's not been much of an issue. They can call. We have an emergency before/after hours number, but it even says you want faster response, email us. And we're responding to emails. We just don't have official answer the phone hours until 10. So that's not really been an issue. Yeah, that's an important aspect too, is once you have a bunch of people trained to do different things, I stagger some of their start times. I start at 7. Eric right now has been starting at 9. Steve, Kyle, and Miles are starting at 10. And Corey worked till 5 a.m. last night. So with the other people that do infrastructure. So we have all kinds of scattered. It's about getting projects done and getting things done. It's not about any other aspect of it really. It's like, I don't know. Maybe I'll sit down and write some concise thoughts on there. The other very important part is, as a business owner, I'm always working on creating structure and not trying to manage everything. I've repeated this a lot, but it's also something that's hard for a lot of business owners, is they're not good at delegating. You'll find delegation is a really, really key piece you need to grow the business. If not, I wouldn't be able to sit here and play on YouTube for a couple hours. I wouldn't be able to go really think about some other thing that the company should be doing and bring the company into another direction if I was on the phone fixing Outlook and printer problems. So you always have to think about that and create structures. So I'm always looking at, all right, why did something come to me and not be handled by them? Was it a one-off? Was it an exception? Can we put a process around it so that process can happen without me? I always think that way. I'm always like, how do I automate it? And it's really the same context when you're doing some type of system engineering. You're not manually doing backups all the time. You're like, oh, cool. What software could I use that would automate my backups? All right. What software can I use to automate this or automate that function? Cool. What person can do a process that would automate a function? What about the sales process? What can we automate about that? What about the service process? What about how we do our invoicing? What levels of automation can we bring that? Those are the things you constantly should be thinking about in order to grow the business. If not, you get caught up in the minutia, you get caught up in decision fatigue. That's something that not everyone realizes. Even though this job is less tangible and less physical, like it's not a manual labor job working in tech, but you still get fatigue. But the fatigue you get is usually like a decision fatigue. You have just answered so many questions and made so many decisions, and that becomes a fatigue point where you're suddenly going, I don't want to be asked any more questions. I don't want to do that. You kind of get worn out in it. It also makes it hard to come up with ideas for how to do things better until you have some other people you can kind of delegate some of that to. So I've, like I said, covered that a couple times. Yeah, people say working on the business, not in the business. However you want to phrase it, work-life balance, I don't have a use case for that. Okay, we'll say in some ways when you own a business, it's not like a 9 to 5, so you kind of don't have work-life balance. Your passion is what you do, and what I do makes me happy, therefore I do it. So it's not like I have to come up with a work-life balance that's so specific like that. It's kind of like I can just do what I want, and I don't know. It's not as easy to define. So, which APs are you using? I use UniFi, so I'm not sure what James is asking. Yeah, Corey worked till 5 a.m. because he was doing a project all night. He's wiring a really big building with the team, and they like Corey's phrase that I really like is called tripping on the trades. He likes working out of sync with the other trades that are there. So the electricians or the drywall or whatever the other trade groups that are there doing work. Instead of working while they're there, Corey prefers to work after they leave. And he's because Corey's a contractor. So the contractors and all the ones that work with Corey, they're paid by what they get done for the job, not by the hour. So they go in and hustle until they are done. And that's how so the sooner they get the project done, project being done right, of course, is part of the prerequisite, they just hustle and work all night. So they don't even start, though, until after the tradespeople leave, and then they put in like a 9-10 hour shift. So, have you made a no printer tech support rule? I haven't done printer support in so long. I am too dumb right now to do printer support. I lack the proper facilities and knowledge to do it because I have no experience at it. So I'm not really doing printer support. So, so what's the we map did is map this? I can't read that sentence. Did is map the staff. Anyways, it's going to link it to security group as well. All right, I lost some of that on there. Anyways, I am winding this down. If all of you, there are 335 people. I've seen as high as 300. And if you could see the sticker on here, it says, bash that like button. So the bottom one, well, the middle one, I should say. It's not really the bottom. The one in the middle. The one in the top says Born Again Shell. The one at the bottom says bash that like button. So if you guys could spend some time bashing on the like button, that would be appreciated. Before I wander off here, I'm going to go spend a few minutes riding a motorcycle or something. That's my plan next, at least. Printers so much. Can we please get into 2020 to go paperless? Oh, no. Printers are not going away, unfortunately. Yelp wouldn't let you post a review. Yelp is awful. You probably tried to say something nice and Yelp wouldn't let you say something nice because they're an awful company. So that hasn't changed from the beginning of this podcast to the current podcast. I still dislike Yelp greatly. If Yelp went out of business, I would not do anything but giggle a little bit. I don't want to see anyone lose their job. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to crap on the Yelp employees, just on the Yelp management. So. Good. 88 likes. Let's see if we can get it over 100. Come on, click that like button. Go visit my friend at Craft Computing. He's full-time YouTube, so check out his channel. He's going to be making a lot more content. I'm excited. I'm going to be on that channel in a few weeks. So tell him Tom sent you. Say, hey, that Tom Lawrence guy said I should check out your channel over at Craft Computing. He's got beer recommendations. I do not have beer. I recommend hot sauce. He recommends beer, so it's pretty cool. So, what is your live stream viewer records? I think 400, but I don't remember for absolute certainty. I'd have to go through. But I think at one time I hit 400. We came close today. I think at one time I seen it at like 370 today. But I think right around that 400 mark is the most people I've seen on stream. Thank you for all of you for showing up and hanging out with me. It is wonderful. Head over to forums.lawrencesystems.com to participate in further discussion or suggest new videos and all that fun stuff. That is a better, more concise place where we can have a more engaged conversation without me trying to read through all the scrolls that are going on, and I try to give more in-depth answers with some links for things. But let's see, how many tech company shirts do you have? I don't know. Whatever people send me. I love shirts. Yay, we got over 100. Awesome, thank you. I mostly have a lot of swag shirts from events I go to. FreeNAS, they got new logos, so they said they're going to send me some new shirts to people over at IX Systems specifically. So that's cool. Most of my wardrobe is swag shirts. I wear t-shirts everywhere. I don't really like not wearing t-shirts. So that's always my general thing is to... I don't like getting dressed up. We'll just say it like it is. I do have Doctor Who shirts. Not that I usually wear to work. Work, I mostly wear. I try to wear all of our branded stuff when I'm doing videos. I did a video and wanted to do this one to support my friend at Craft Computing. But yeah, I'm a Doctor Who fan as well. I'm not a super fan. I'm not as caught up with it. It's on my to-do list to catch up with all the latest Doctor Who. But I'm a long-time watcher of it. It's cool. I love when companies send me swag shirts. That's always kind of fun. I think they changed the logo because they wanted to go through rebranding. I don't really know anything else. So, and it's not like a shark is specifically the FreeNAS shark has been the FreeNAS shark. That's not a specifically BSD thing. The little devil guy would be the BSD logo. So I think they're just going through rebranding is why they changed FreeNAS over to a shark, but whatever. Or from the shark to the new logo. I don't know what to call it. I guess it's a storage logo. I don't know. Anyways, you guys got to learn about Pittsburgh toilets, and so did I today. So at least we had one good piece of errata. No hot sauce because we covered black jelly beans. Thank you all. I'm going to end the stream now, and all of you have a wonderful day. It's nice out. It's like 90 degrees outside here in Michigan, so I'm going to go out and try not to get sunburned. Thanks.